Just imagine how the weakest boy you know becomes the most powerful kung fu warrior in the world. At the beginning of the story, we see a child named Nick, who was harassed a lot by the other children of his village. Nick had no other option but to run away from them, but they often chased him and used to throw stones at him, and one day when Nick was running away from them, he noticed some men who were practicing Kung Fu Sikhism. Were staying. Nick also immediately reached out to his master and said that he also wanted to learn Kung Fu, so that they too can protect themselves instead of running away in fear from anyone. But despite his good intentions, the master could not teach him martial arts because children in his village were prohibited from learning martial arts. But then Nick's father also reached there and asked Nick to leave from there immediately, after which he took him to a monk. Actually, his father did not want to teach martial arts to Nick under any circumstances because according to him, people become thugs after learning fighting. That's why he wanted monk Nick to explain something. But instead of helping his father, the monk allowed Nick to learn martial arts because the monk knew that Nick was doing all this to save himself. The next day once again those boys started harassing Nick, and among the boys was also a boy named Davis whose father was one of the richest men in the village. Fed up with all of them, Nick started learning Kung Fu on his own. He had the ability to learn things very quickly. That's why he learned so much Kung Fu in just one day's hard work that he beat all the boys. And since that day Nick has been continuously improving himself. After a few years, when he grew up, one day Davis and his friends once again attacked Nick because they wanted to take revenge for their insult a few years ago. But despite bringing the entire army with him, Nick took them all to the forest and beat them badly. When Davis went home and told this to his father said, "Yes, then why did you attack him?" In fact, due to his tremendous Kung Fu ability, Nick was now paid to fight fighters from nearby villages. And in these fights, Davis's father also used to earn a lot of money by betting on Nick. That's why he told Davis to stay away from Nick. In the entire village, Nick was called a dangerous fighter as well as a money-making machine. But all this changed the day Nick fought with a fighter named Jackie. During that fight, Jackie defeated Nick very easily. Meanwhile he became unconscious and fell into the river. But his mean villagers left him unconscious. After some time, a drunkard pulled Nick out of the river. And as soon as he regained consciousness, the first thing he asked about his master and his friends. On which the man explained to him that actually his money was lost because of his loss. That's why they left him there in anger. Nick felt very bad after hearing this. After this the man suggested Nick to go from place to place and learn different Kung Fu styles. Because according to him the technology was taught in his village. She was very weak and with this technique he would not be able to go much further. Nick understood what the man said and then he left on his journey. After walking for some time, he reached a Kung Fu school and immediately started learning. When the teacher of that school noticed Nick, he asked him the reason for coming there. On which Nick told them that he wants to learn different styles from different places. The master liked his answer very much and he allowed Nick to learn there. After working hard there for a few days, Nick started defeating the best fighters there. The master was very happy to see his ability, and that's why he taught Nick a special technique, with the help of which he could easily defeat anyone. One day when a man from Davis was buying goods from the market, his eyes fell on Nick who was practicing nearby. And he immediately reached Davis with this news the next day. Davis along with his comrades reached that school to attack. He threatened the master and asked him to hand over Nick to him. And if he didn't do it, he would set his entire school on fire. The master was getting very angry after hearing his threat, but still he was talking to Davis very comfortably. Then one of Davis's men suggested taking away the master's daughter, but before things got worse, Nick himself came there and surrendered himself to Davis and his men. Davis wanted to tie his hands and drag him away from there. And at the same time his men started burning the houses of the villagers. Seeing this, Nick could not stop himself and immediately freed himself. He attacked Davis's men and beat them badly and then went to help the villagers. Davis now had no other option but to accept defeat. That's why he immediately ran away from there. From this Nick understood that if he remained in school for much longer then all their lives would be in danger. That's why he decided to leave from there and go somewhere else. On the other hand, Davis's father was very angry because he had failed to bring Nick back. Due to Nick's other fighters not fighting, Davis's father was unable to bet on him. After being scolded by his father, Davis and his men decide to kill all the villagers who helped Nicky escape. On the other hand, when Nick was going through the forest, he met a man named Boomcat, who wanted to learn Kung Fu along with him. The next day Nick and Boomcat arrived at a village where a show was going to be held at night. Both of them went to the manager there to ask for work, Ling Ling, after which Ling Ling took both of them to her father, who initially refused to hire them. And when he learned that both of them were willing to pay him some money, Ling Ling's father immediately agreed to hire them. And that Rahat Nick and Boomcat also worked as actors in that show to earn money. When Boomcat woke up the next morning, he found that Nick had already left. On the other hand, Davis and his men started attacking the villagers as per the plan. And this time a girl from Lim Yam Nam also became a victim of his attack. But at that time Nick was passing by and he immediately ran to help her. Nick was leaving after defeating Davis and his men once again when the girl gifted him a gold ring and a horse carriage as a reward for saving her life. After some time, he reached a village where he came to know that the martial arts school of that village was the best school in that area. As soon as he received this news, Nick immediately went to meet the master there, who seeing Nick's ability immediately made him his disciple, and then the master introduced him to Boomcat, who had already reached there. After this, Nick started learning from that master continuously, and after a few days, the master understood Nick's hard work and ability. That's why he asked Nick to take part in the upcoming competition. After which Nick started preparing vigorously for the match, because he did not want to lose the respect of his master under any circumstances. On the day of the competition, Nick met Ling Ling and Limit, who had come to visit the village. Before the match, everyone was making fun of Nick and his master, considering them weak. But as soon as the fight started, Nick silenced everyone with his ability and defeated all the fighters there, making his master proud. After the competition was over, I said goodbye to my master and moved ahead on my journey. And this time Boomcat, Ling Ling and one more man were going to go with him. Soon they met a man who loved drinking alcohol, but despite this he was the best swordsman there. That's why all four of them gave the man a few bottles of liquor and started learning sword fighting. After continuous hard work for the next few days, all four of them became experts in swordsmanship. Before leaving, all four of them were given a sword as a gift. After this, when they were moving towards their next destination, Davis and his men attacked them in the middle of the forest. It was during their encounter that Boomcat got shot, which enraged him and killed all of Nick Davis's men. But Davis once again managed to escape. After this, Nick and his friends took the Boomcat to a dealer, where they were helped by a man named Finn. There Nick met Limit, who was actually the daughter of the same fighter named Jackie who had once defeated Nick. After this, Nick was told that he should take part in the Kung Fu competition organized by the king, so that he can defeat him once again. But this time Nick was fully prepared and challenged Jackie that he would definitely defeat him. For the next few days, Nick continued his training, and on the day of the match, Nick easily defeated all the other fighters of Jackie. After which the last match was going to take place between them. Jackie had defeated Nick once before also. That's why the king said to invest all my money on this. And this time, with the help of his new technique, Nick gave a tough competition to Jackie and after some struggle, finally defeated him. After which the king was very happy with his ability. But as soon as he moved forward to give the reward to Nick, suddenly some people attacked the king. Actually Finn was behind everything. As soon as the king was attacked, a fierce fight started there. After which Finn told everyone that in fact he was the real king and the man who had organized this match by becoming the king. He just wanted to earn money by fooling people. After this Finn once again took back the king's throne, and declared Nick a minister in his kingdom. A few days later, Nick came with Limit to meet his mother who had been waiting for him for many days. After this the movie ends. If you like the video then like it and subscribe to the channel. We will meet in the next video. Thank you.